Yo, yo, yo. What is going on, fellas? What is going on, fellas? What is going on? What is going on, fellas? Welcome back. Welcome back. This is my first ever weekly overview stream. This is my first ever weekly overview stream. Let me know if you guys like this, if I should do more of these weekly overview streams. Anyways, this week was a very big week. First of all, we had the rate cuts that happened, and a lot of news that happened that pulled a lot of strings in the market. So, without further ado, I made a PowerPoint for everyone. If you have any other stock picks or cryptocurrencies you want me to look at, feel free to put them in the chat or put them in the Q&A. All right, guys. All right, without further ado, let's get into it. Weekly market and trading overview, okay? And I'll also be posting what I'll be expecting and the stocks I'll be looking at starting this week. All right, let's get to it. All right, so first of all, a little bit about myself. A little disclaimer: I'm not a day trader, contrary to popular belief. A lot of people think I'm a day trader. I do not day trade, okay? I'm not a day trader. I'm also not a financial advisor. I focus on long-term trades, the kind that I hold for weeks, months, or even years. And my goal here is not to chase every single tick and every single drop of the market, but to combine fundamental and technical analysis to identify high probability opportunities and to make smarter investment and financial decisions. Okay? And the reason why I'm hosting this live stream is to share my perspective on what's happening in the markets every other week. All right, so today I'm going to walk you guys through the latest macroeconomic and news developments, also highlighting some of the key stocks that are making the headlines and wrapping around a watch list of events that are and names to keep an eye out for the upcoming week. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. I'm not a financial advisor, so before you make any decisions, make sure you do your own research. All right, so first of all, this past week we had the 25 basis point cut. Finally, that's been long awaited for. We've been waiting months for this rate cut. I'm finally glad that they finally cut the rates. That means borrowing cost decrease, which will allow businesses to growth, which will allow consumers and more people to start investing in the market. Okay, it's because the weekly job report that came out back in July and the slowing growth that's been happening. But it's been stated, according to hold on, let me pull up the analytics. They are planning on cutting the rates twice again before the end of this year. Once in, according to the Fed Watch tool, there is a 91.9% chance that they are going to cut the rates again in October. And in December, there is a 80.5% chance for a rate cut, and the target is 375 basis points. Okay, so this most likely is not going to be the final rate cut of the year. Okay. All right, so inflation is still elevated, but it is trending lower. The markets has been rallying to all-time highs this past 2 weeks, leading up to the rate cut. Okay, and this rate cut will allow borrowing costs to decrease, equities and real estate to tailwind, as well as help keep inflation in check. All right, so the most growth we've seen are in the tech and financial sector. Like I said before, we most likely will be seeing a lot of growth in financial sector because rate cuts, they help they help like banks like JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Bank of America. they all help them lend out more of the mortgages. As well as SoFi. I told you guys about SoFi a week ago, and right now it's hitting all-time high. That will be one of the stock I'll be going over in today's live stream. All right, so first of all, let's look at Tesla. Tesla. What are the fundamentals for this week? So the big news catalyst is that Elon Musk bought $1 billion worth of Tesla stock, and this also increased the investor confidence in Tesla. It is also stated that there is an upcoming shareholder meeting in December to vote on Elon Musk's $1 trillion pay package plan. I will be participating in that shareholder meeting. So let's see what date it is. Let's see. Thursday, November 6th, 2020. Thursday, November 6th at 3 p.m. If I'm a verified shareholder... Wait, actually, hold on. Special meeting will be the ability to vote provided. Oh, you can actually go there in person? Hold on. So the shareholder meeting that will be coming up on November 6th will seek to approve his $1 trillion pay package plan. But let's look at the technical analysis. Okay, the whole Elon Musk buying $1 billion Tesla stock rallied Tesla to over the $400 mark. That was an insane rally. Tesla has been trading under $400 for almost 2 years. For almost 2 years, and it just recently went back to 488, and it looks like it could be breaking through all-time highs. It could be breaking to all-time highs in the next 6 months or so. All right, let's look at the technical analysis for Tesla. Let's see. I'm going to show you guys the screen. Alright, so a couple of technical indicators I typically look at. I look at the MACD, and these indicators are what I call Ripster clouds. This is the indicator I use to find momentum and trend when it comes to stock, when it comes to viewing them long term. Alright, so as long as it's trading above the 3450 EMA, which it shows it has a strong upward momentum. That's why I'm bullish on Tesla right now. I have a contract expiring in October, and I'm currently actually kind of down on that contract. But looking at the technical, it looks like it's trending up pretty good. I do expect to see it to break 430 and potentially reach an all-time highs. Right, so let's see. Typically I look at the 1 hour time interval and the days time interval when I trade contracts that are weeks or even months out. This is the time interval I typically look at. All right, so I see a lot of other YouTubers that are saying the fundamentals for Tesla are not there, but it is what it is. All right, so now let's look at the next slide. Hold on. Nvidia. What happened to Nvidia this past week? Nvidia had a $5 billion investment into Intel. A lot of people have been telling me Intel is dead. Like my neighbor, he works for the NASDAQ. We've been talking about the semiconductor industry for a minute, and he's been telling me Intel is dead. Nvidia came to the rescue and pulled him out of the mud hole. and now it looks like they are trading at around $30 or so. Had a little pullback after that initial jump. But yeah, this should tell you that stuff like this, like, you can't really foresee it unless you're like an insider or an institution. This kind of stuff you can't really predict it. I was gonna buy Intel shares a long time ago, but I fumbled the bag. I guess I didn't purchase them. All right, so the $5 billion Intel partnership to cooperate with Nvidia. I do think that Intel and Nvidia are gonna keep trending upward together. So my overview on both of them are bullish. Let's look at some of the technicals, including the support and resistance zone. Let me show you guys the slide right here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so looking at the Ripster cloud, it's trading above the 1 hour interval for the Ripster cloud. It looks like it's trading above the 3450 EMA. It looks like it's trading above it pretty well. I did buy into the dip earlier this. Let's see. I did buy into the dip earlier on the 17th, which is Wednesday. I did buy. I don't know why they pulled back. Let's check the news real quick. Why did Nvidia pull back? Nvidia, I think it's because the whole thing with China. We only are not bullish to China. Okay. Forgot the whole news that time to sell. Okay, it's the whole forgot. But I did buy into the dip this Tuesday, last Tuesday. Actually Wednesday, when it tanked around. I bought it in the pre-market when it tanked to 173, and I bought another 100 shares around this price, which is like 171. So right now I'm currently up I think like 4% on my Nvidia shares. But Nvidia is something I do plan on holding for the long term. And if you guys don't know anything about the long-term capital gains tax, if you hold an asset for longer than a year, then you technically get taxed at a lower rate. So Nvidia is something I plan on holding for years to come, and I do think that it's gonna continue to trend upward. All right, looking at the MACD and the Ripster clouds, it's trading above the 3450 EMA. Which means I'll be continuing to be holding my contracts. I had a contract expiring in November, and I had to sell it. Earlier this month, before the FOMC meeting, to minimize my risk. All right, so with that being said, let's move on to the next stock. Boom. All right, AMD was a great opportunity to buy this when the Intel and Nvidia cooperation news came out, because AMD is seen as the main competitor for Nvidia. Even though I don't know if you guys know, but the CEOs are actually cousins of each other. Okay, they're both from Taiwan. Very interesting. Very interesting. All right, so let me give you guys a slide right here. So AMD, what happened to AMD this past week? The competitive pressure from the Nvidia Intel partnership caused AMD to drop. Let's see how much they dropped. They dropped all the way down to 150 during the pre-market, and they even let's see the price. Let me show you guys the charts right here. So the on Wednesday when they announced the partnership, I bought Nvidia. I mean, AMD around the, let's see, pull up AMD. I bought AMD right here when the news came out of the Nvidia Intel partnership. The tanked it all the way down from 160 back all the way back down to 150. Okay, and I bought the dip literally right here. This just tell you that news like this, news like this, you gotta take advantage of the fear-mongering news that they always try to instill on you. You gotta take advantage of this by buying the dip, okay? Because long term, I'm still bullish on AMD. I'm still very bullish on AMD. I do think it's gonna continue growing. I don't think it's gonna be the next Nvidia. It's gonna take a minute for them to even catch up, but I do think they have a lot of potential. All right, let's look at the technicals. The technicals, it does look like it's crossing the rips for clouds, the 3450 rips for clouds, which showing there could be a signs of a pullback before it continues to trend upward. Let's look at the 1 hour charts. The 1 hour chart, it looks like it has a slight bearish momentum, but that's okay. This is something I plan on holding for the long term, which I mean like years ahead. I told you guys, remember a couple months ago, back when May, I told you guys that AMD was going to be a big winner. AMD was gonna have huge potential. Look how far it's come since then. Back in May, I posted that video. I know it's around May. Back in May, was trading around $110. I posted that video saying AMD was a stock that has huge potential. And the only regret I had was I didn't buy enough. That's the only regret I had. Because I only bought like 10 shares of AMD at the time. Had I bought 100 shares, oh my goodness. Had I bought 100 shares of AMD, I'd be up almost 70% right now. Shares alone. We're not even talking about contracts. But for now, I'm just going to keep holding on to shares. No contracts for me for AMD. Looking at the RSI right now, it looks like the selling momentum is starting to die down, which means this could go either way. This could really go either way. It could keep downtrending. It could keep uptrending, depending on how the market goes. But market sentiments right now are still very bullish. So this could really go either way. All right, now let's look at the next stock. Open Door Technologies. Open Door Technology, man. This has been a trending hot, high volume. I think this is like the highest volume stock for the past week or so. Let's see. Let's pull up the charts. Open Door Technologies, man. Open Door. I've been hearing about this ever since June. I've been hearing about Open Door Technologies. So what is Open Door Technologies? Open Door Technologies is basically a platform where you can eliminate the middleman, aka the real estate agent, which allows buyers and sellers to make cash offers when it comes to buying a home. This is pretty, in my opinion, it's a pretty decent business model. But right now, it's all based on hype because the CEO from Shopify came over. I did do some research on the fundamentals of the company. I posted a video on that. They were losing $350 million for the past 12 months. And until that has changed, my outlook, it will still remain bearish. Okay, my outlook will continue to remain bearish because there are no fundamentals there. And for me, I really look into the fundamentals of a company. That really dictates my entire outlook on them. But with a lot of the housing market challenges, I think this is going to be a limiting factor to the growth of Open Door. And for these reasons, my outlook on this company is still going to be short-term. It's still going to be short-term bearish. Okay, I dropped a play on Wednesday. Say I was going to go into a put for Open Door. But let's look at the let's look at the charts for right now. Open door. It's all based open door right now. It's all based on hype. There's no fundamentals there. And I think if the people on Wall Street bets making hundreds of thousands of dollars through calls, like, I'm not gonna, that's straight gambling. Okay, that's straight gambling. This is like the new GameStop slash AMC of 2025. If you guys didn't, I made a lot of money for GameStop, and I pulled out from that just in time before the crash. And I think this open door is going to come down anytime soon. So I would be very cautious if you want to play this stock. If you know what you're doing, if you want to make a quick buck, if you want to make a quick buck, if you know what you're doing, by all means go ahead. But if you want to play it safe, if you're more like the fundamentals, and if you more like value investing, I would highly recommend stay away from the stock. Okay. All right, let's look at the technicals a little bit. I alerted everyone on, I alerted everyone on Wednesday that I was preparing to go into a bear position against open door. So I opened up a put, not realizing the IV was almost 400%. 400%. So I ended up losing around $200-300 on that put. I had another buddy of mine. He made 20% from the puts, but unfortunately, I bought it in too early. Okay, I bought it in around right here, and the downtrend continued throughout Thursday and Friday. And I'm looking at the 1 hour chart. It looks like it could be showing signs of a downtrend. The 1 hour chart, it could be showing a sign of downtrend. But if you do decide to open up a put position or a bearish position, this could be a very risky stop, because the hype and sentiment around this is just so bullish. If I show you guys the feed right now, everyone's trying to hype this up. Everyone's just trying to hype this up. Okay, and there could be a risk of a short squeeze. If you guys do plan on going bearish on this up, I would highly recommend not shorting it, because there is a risk of short squeeze. Okay, if I was to do this again, I would do a credit spread. If you guys don't know what it is, I will make a tutorial on it for my next videos. All right, so let's look at the next stock. Robinhood, man. I alerted everyone that I said the two stocks that are going to benefit the most from this rate cuts are Robinhood and SoFi. And both of them broke all-time highs this past week. Why? Because, first of all, Robinhood is the most popular brokerage app on the planet. Okay? Everyone, their grandma knows about Robinhood. When you want to buy and sell, especially for beginners, because most people around the world, they're not looking into all these charts and indicators and all that nerdy stuff. But that's why they go to Robinhood, because it's simplified and easy to use for beginner. It has an easy user interface. I went to the Hood Summit live stream last week, and Robinhood's releasing a new update coming that I think is gonna blow Webull out of the competition. Okay, I think it's blow Webull out of the competition, and this comes right before the rate cuts. So the hype and fundamentals around Robinhood are very, very bullish, and it's looking pretty good. So Robinhood, I think, is gonna benefit the most from the rate cuts, because I said it in my previous video that it is the expanding fintech sector with user growth and competition. From the rate cuts, more people are going to want to move their money into investing in the stock market. And what is the number one brokerage app and platform that people use to invest? It is Robinhood. Robinhood is actually the number one app in the world when it comes to user friendliness, beginners, and when people want to get into investing. No other app on the planet. I'm sorry, Webull. I love you. I use you the most, but Robinhood just has a higher user base. Okay, that's why I think it is bullish. This is something I plan on holding for the long term, and I'm talking months or even years. I do see it breaking above keep breaking above all-time high. I do see it potentially going to the $200 range in the future. That's why I plan on also copying a couple contracts on Robinhood as well. All right, so let's look at the technical analysis for Robinhood. Looking at the technical analysis for Robinhood, it shows signs of very, very bullish signs from the MACD and also the Ripster clouds. Looking at the RSI, RSI is a little bit overbought. So I do think that it might have a potential pullback before keep continuing to make all-time highs. Okay. I do think it's gonna continue to make all-time highs. So that is why I plan on adding more into my hood position when it makes that pullback. If not, it is what it is. So with that being said, I would continue to buy Robinhood. So my rating on this is a buy. All right, let's look at the next stock. Let's see. Next one, we have SoFi. SoFi, man, I alerted everyone that I said SoFi was also going to benefit significantly from the rate cuts. Because once the Feds cut the rates, there's going to be a surge in demand for mortgages, because mortgage rates right now are getting low. People are going to want to look into buying a house more. I just had my mentor just had someone buy the house across from his street literally a day after the rate cuts. And SoFi, with it being a up and coming digital finance challenger, they're looking to SoFi is one of the only companies that has everything digital. They're looking to challenge the traditional banking and finance, traditional brick and mortar banking and finance by making everything digital. I'm actually a customer for them as well. I do like their products, and they also have a lot of student loans, personal loans, which I think is gonna get a lot of users to get into more because of the rate cuts. They also have a $500 credit for the mortgages, so I think that's a good promotion they're using. So SoFi, I have a couple of, let's pull up the technical charts. So the recent growth with SoFi has been very strong, especially with the student loan payments resumed. They're expanding their customer base and building out their ecosystem. So technically, SoFi has been trading between support and resistance, and with steady momentum, it's not as explosive as it is in the previous couple months, but it's definitely showing a strong sign of bullish momentum. And for the long term, I definitely plan on holding this for months or even years on come. I do see it continue breaking all-time highs. So I have around 100 shares of SoFi, around $25.50. I bought it right during the dip. Let's see, show you guys right here. I bought it right Actually, I bought it on my birthday. I bought like 100 shares on my birthday when it tanked down to 25.5. Because I knew this was a long-term play. I knew SoFi was a perfect buy opportunity. Had I bought like as much SoFi as I had bought Bull shares or Nvidia shares, I'd probably be up significantly right now. I'd probably be up like 13K right now just from the shares alone. We're not even talking about contracts. Just from the shares alone. So I'll be continuing to adding onto my SoFi position in this upcoming week. If they make a pullback, it doesn't look like they're going to make a pullback. It looks like it's going to keep trending up. So with that being said, I'll be continuing adding onto my SoFi shares. All right. Let's see. What is the next? What is the next stock we want to look at? Apple, man. I had a call on Apple this past week when Apple had their iPhone 17 reveal event, I guess a lot of people didn't like it. A lot of investors didn't like it. So as a result, the Apple stock actually tanked a good amount when they revealed the iPhone 17 during that event. Okay, but I think Apple is just a company that has such a market dominance that I don't think stuff like Androids can compete. Like if you ask anyone, if you ask anyone in the modern age, especially like people in our generation, like Gen Z and millennial, they're always gonna pick an iPhone over an Android. It's I'm sorry if you are Android user, it's just vastly superior. It is the standard norm for not just for socially, but everything about Apple is just standard. And all right, so with that being said, let's take a look at the fundamentals and the technicals for Apple. So I alerted everyone that the Apple pullback was only temporary. Okay, I alerted everyone the Apple pullback was temporary. Let's see. When did this happen? Okay, so I bought calls on Apple around $229. This was the day they revealed the iPhone 17. And look how much it dropped. It went all the way from $240 all the way down to $226. And that I knew was the perfect moment to buy calls, because a company like Apple, especially after like something like iPhone 7, people are still gonna buy the iPhone no matter how shitty it is, no matter how ugly the iPhone is. People are still gonna buy it because it is an iPhone. The image and the reputation, and the social proof around iPhone is just so much more vastly superior that people are gonna continue to buy it no matter how shitty the products are. No matter how shitty the products are, people are still gonna continue to buy it. So that's when I bought. That's when I knew my opportunity, and I bought calls on Apple, and I was up almost 40% of them before I sold. And I bought another call when it had a pullback. So right now, Apple has been one of my biggest players right now. I do see it breaking all-time highs before the end of this year. Let's see, all-time high is 256. It looks like it has a strong bullish momentum, trading above the 34 and 50 EMA clouds. I think it's a continued trend up and break the all-time highs of $260. When Apple makes all-time high, oh my gosh, my year would be set. I would take that money and go buy the new iPhone 17. I do need an new iPhone, because my storage on my current iPhone 15 Plus is running out. They also have the iPhone first ever iPhone Air, which was like the thinnest iPhone ever. I think it was a pretty dope idea. However, I'm gonna try to get the iPhone 17 Pro Max, because your boy needs a big phone to look at. All right, pause. All right, so let me stop. All right, so looking at the MACD, looks like it's gonna continue to trend upward. I do plan on adding more to my position if it potentially makes a pullback. All right, with that being said, let's move on to the next stock. If there is any, actually, you know what? That's actually it. I don't have any more stocks I want to go over this week. If you guys have any other stocks, looks like it doesn't have any other stocks you wanted me to go over. But here's the week ahead. We have economics report, the CPI report, unemployment claims, and Fed speeches that are going to be happening. I will alert you guys in the group chat about all these reports and keep you guys updated. But for now, I'll be closing my live stream. Thank you guys for attending and joining this live stream. Thank you guys for everyone who tuned in. This is actually my first ever weekly overview live stream. If you guys like this, please give me a sub button, like this video, and follow for more weekly updates on long-term trading and investing strategies and personal finance. Okay? Now, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or shoot me a DM on IG. Looks like I don't have any questions, so I'll be closing this stream for now. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Sunday. And as always, stay safe out there when trading. All right, take care, team.